Welcome to the Sneaking Into the Movies podcast. I'm Max Nathan.
And I'm Norman Davis. Max on, Max off. Or whatever I say in those movies. Y'all know why we're here today. We are talking Karate Kid's Legends with a very special guest, a black belt.
Sneak in with us and let's discuss Karate Kid Legends.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, today we are talking Karate Kid Legends, and we have a very special guest. CJ Camot is here, who is a black belt in Taekwondo, and he is going to be here to answer any questions we have about martial arts and the general, action, choreography of these Karate Kid movies. CJ, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your relationship to the Karate Kid franchise and martial arts in general.
Oh God, my relationship to the cinematic masterpiece. Okay, I'm a third degree black belt in Taekwondo. I'm trained in a few forms of Taekwondo, and then also Kali, which is like the stick martial arts from the Philippines. Also Krav Maga, or I'm trained in Krav Maga, and I have some training in karate. So I should put out the disclaimer that I'm not fully like an expert in the type of martial arts that they're doing, but I know a good amount about it.
Among the three of us, you're the expert.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. I have done what's it called, like stunts and stuff like that. So all the Jackie Chan type stuff, I'm sort of familiar with.
Awesome.
Have you ever jumped off the side of the wall using a ladder, like in Karate Kid Legends?
Oh no, I have. Have I used wires before? No, I have not.
Do you often see Spider-Verse type animations when you're in a martial arts brawl?
You know what? Actually, the synesthesia type like feeling that you get whenever you're like competing, I actually find that a lot of people talk about that, like they're like sort of seeing colors a little bit. I don't know if that's from like just head trauma or like you're just in the moment. I don't know.
Interesting. I do not want to see colors anytime soon. But, let's just talk about the movie here for a little bit. So, Karate Kid Legends, it's the newest installment in the Karate Kid franchise. We all saw the movie. Norman, what were your thoughts? Because I kind of forced you to see this movie. You were kind of whining about it on the last podcast. I know you were dreading it. But did Karate Kid Legends, change your mind on the whole thing?
No. I didn't love it. I don't know. I guess for context, I've seen the original and the Jaden Smith one. I didn't know there were sequels to the originals up until this week, doing my little research.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea. So that should say I'm not very, attached to Karate Kid. Like, it was a movie I watched as a kid, but it wasn't like, something like Ghostbusters I like to think of, just because this also kind of falls in that 80s IP that keeps sneaking its way back. It's like a movie I kind of liked. I think I saw the Jaden Smith one, in theaters.
I think I did too.
I don't remember ever watching it at home or anything like that. And then I started watching Cobra Kai, and one day I just stopped watching, and I just never finished. But I will say, I'm gonna finish it one day because it's fun. It's fun for Netflix. You know what I mean?
You gotta hang on to it too, because there's some real stinky seasons mixed in with some classic Karate Kid stuff.
That's what I seem to hear. That it kind of just like understands Karate Kid really well, which I feel like this movie didn't. So I don't know. But Max, obviously you're very excited for this movie.
I was.
Did this live up to the hype? Were you disappointed? Were you blown away? Did you leave early?
I did not leave early. I was not blown away. And I thought this movie was pretty meh. It's not the worst, abysmally awful legacy sequel I've ever seen. But it's not going to be something I remember. It's not even something that I think really stands out among the Karate Kid franchise. But I will admit, like, I am a sucker for this kind of stuff. Like, I've sat through the really, bad seasons of Cobra Kai, and I was always going to be here no matter what. And I got to say, it delivered on some of the typical things I'm expecting from a Karate Kid movie, but it is just kind of a meh, forgettable legacy sequel walking out of the movie theater. CJ, you're our guest here. You're probably the biggest Karate Kid fan among the three of us. What did you think of Karate Kid Legends?
I mean, among the three of us, probably. But like, okay, so I've seen the first or the original trilogy, and then I've seen all of Cobra Kai. I have not. The only one I haven't seen is the Hillary Swank. I think that's what it was. Hillary
I
Swank.
believe that is
like,
called The Next Karate Kid
the next
or something
Karate
like
Kid.
that.
No, I don't think I'm ever gonna bring myself to watch that. I'm gonna be so honest with you. But
The completion,
honestly,
I know the completionist in you. One day you'll make your way to it. I know you will.
but the part of me that just like is very negligent about watching movies is probably gonna deny me the from that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it was, it was entertaining, which is all you can really ask for. I agree that I don't think it was like a stellar movie. It kind of just seemed like, from a storytelling standpoint, it was just kind of like a montage of events. It didn't really feel like something too like coherent, but I wouldn't by any means call it a waste of time, especially considering the fact that it's like what, 94 minutes? Like
It's very short.
it's
Yeah.
really short. It's really short, and they tried to fit so much into the damn movie. Like it's like two storylines, kind of like jam packed.
And I will say that did make it feel long for me. Like I knew going in it was, real short, but it didn't feel short to me. I thought the pace of this movie was kind of. It was kind of a little bit of an issue that we had with, or that I had with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which we talked about last week, where that movie is also just cut so quickly, and you're moving from thing to thing to thing so quickly, and it somehow you're also skipping over a lot of stuff, and it just doesn't end up feeling really cohesive. And I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the bloat, the mess.
It was just like stuff was happening the entire movie, like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what like I found it hard to really grab onto anything going on because it was just like it was like one big Karate Kid montage. I don't know. That's kind of what it felt like for most of it.
And that is kind of what these movies are designed to do. I bet at the inception of this idea to make a movie where, Jackie Chan's Karate Kid movie crosses over with the mainline Karate Kid movies, I'm sure they were thinking about, just... And by the way, this movie has been in development for like a zillion years. I think it's been in development since that Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie.
Which is very interesting to me because that Jaden Smith one, like I said, I haven't watched since I was a kid. It's like very clearly not tied to the old Karate Kid. Like it was very clearly like a reboot.
Yeah.
I find that interesting. I don't know, like. I mean, obviously, Max, we talk about legacy sequels a lot. It's kind of like that's the first episode was legacy sequel episode. Anyways,
the second, I believe, no, it was the first. The first episode of this podcast was about legacy sequels. So
yeah, so we're pretty familiar with a lot of them. I don't know. I just like never seen a legacy sequel that brought the original and a reboot. I don't know. I just thought like that was interesting. I mean, they kind of they find a way to tie in Daniel and Mr. Han. So.
They do. They make their way into it. I will say, I think it is honestly false advertising to have them in the marketing as much as they are, because neither one of them, Machio or Jackie Chan, is in this very much at all.
It's a glorified cameo.
It is a glorified cameo.
100%.
The whole time I was watching, that's kind of maybe another reason why it felt long to me, is because I was just sitting there kind of waiting for Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio to enter the picture. And they don't for like, they pop up in probably, you think it's like the last 25 minutes?
Pretty much. Like it opens up with Jackie and then turns into a boxing movie for some reason that I assume we'll talk about.
Yeah.
See, my problem with that though is like that was the most interesting part to me, was the like it kind of like took the Karate Kid formula and then like spun it a little bit on its axis, like, oh, it's actually the Karate Kid who's actually experienced this time, and he's teaching like an older individual. But then,
Yeah.
like you were saying, at like the last 25 minutes, they kind of come to this point where they're like, oh shoot, how do we gotta fit in the legacy characters, right? Like, how are we gonna do that?
Yeah.
I felt like they were like accidentally doing something interesting. I don't know, because like when this
Yeah.
movie starts, you're like, oh, it's the same, the kid's moving and he got no friends and he likes this girl and he gets beat up by the bully, whatever. Like tale as old as time. And yeah, it just kind of turns into this completely different thing. And then it's like, oh fuck, this is a Karate Kid movie, isn't it? And then yeah,
I also thought, I think his name is Joshua Jackson, who played the dad in the movie, and the whole plot line with the daughter. I thought that was pretty. It's about as compelling as it can be for what this movie is.
I think it was the most compelling part of this movie.
Yeah. I liked them. I thought that was cool. And I really liked his tutor, played by Wyatt Oleff, who played the kid from It. I thought he was really good. I thought he was like the surprise breakout star of this movie. And I'm keeping an eye on him. I think he's going somewhere. I think he's got something.
I think you said this on your letterbox, but obviously too, Ben Wang is like he was good in this.
He was.
I thought he was good in this. Like if he was in a movie that didn't suck, like I could see him like totally taking over Hollywood.
Yeah.
I hope nothing but the best for him or anyone in this. But yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say in the movie. I mean, this is just pure Marvel has rotted my brain, but I was watching the movie and his performance and thinking, wow, this guy's, kind of got like a Peter Parker thing going for him. And they call him Chinese Peter Parker in the movie.
yeah.
And yeah, no, that's I also, because I was watching Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man as well this week. I delved into that. And Amadeus Cho is a character on that show.
Oh,
So I just wanted let's do a little comics corner here. I know you guys both know about Amadeus Cho a lot more than me.
Is this are you talking about is this the Drake Bell series?
No, this is the new Disney Plus Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show. It's like yeah, it's supposed to be the origin story for the Tom Holland Spider-Man, but like set in a different universe where like he meets Norman Osborn instead of Tony Stark at his apartment during Civil War. And it's okay. It's an okay show. Not to get too far into Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but
Sure.
Amadeus Cho is a character on that show, and I just wanted to ask about that character a little bit because I feel like maybe Ben Wong could play this character someday in the Marvel movies.
So we did talk about this. I don't know if you remember this in the
Yeah.
Brave New World discussion, where half that episode was about everything that we know got cut.
Yeah.
He was in the movie. I don't know who it was.
Are you shitting me?
playing him.
He was in Captain America
Yeah. Or they cut him. They cut him
as
from the movie.
as
They
Amadeus Cho,
They shot scenes with Amadeus Cho and took him out of the movie.
and Ben Wong was Amadeus Cho.
No.
Oh,
I meant
okay.
like the character Amadeus Cho.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, but so is Amadeus Cho the Hulk and Iron Spider? Like, what's the deal? Like,
He's just like a super smart kid, and then at some point he gets access to it. They took him through a few storylines. It starts off as he gets access to the Iron Spider armor, and then later on he becomes like a smart Hulk type thing.
okay, interesting. Okay,
I don't know too much about him. I'm gonna be honest with you. Other than
Okay.
kind of that.
Literally, just his whole premise is like he's just a super smart dude.
okay.
He can be who he needs to be.
Yeah.
That answers my question about Amadeus Cho. We are exiting the comics corner
No, take me back.
to talk more about Karate Kid. So the movie's set in New York, and I thought it felt like it was shot in New York. I don't know. I'm going to check right now if they actually shot it in New York, but it felt like it was shot in New York, unlike some other movies recently that have come out, like Scream 6, where you're like, they say it's New York, but none of this really feels like New York.
Or Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, they shoot that in Atlanta. But yeah, no.
So this movie does the bare minimum.
Yeah. Yes.
It says it takes place somewhere, and you actually feel like it takes place somewhere.
It looks like it's shot in New York, which is cool.
The pacing of the movie I feel like contributes to that as well. Just like the like fast cuts somehow, like the graphics and like the wipe transitions. I feel like
Yeah,
you know
there
what I
was
mean?
like those animations and stuff.
Yeah, really, it
Um,
captures like the bustling nature, I guess, of New York, which like contributes to the story pretty well. But at the same time, I feel like it's like you start to realize when they're sort of using that style to hide a lot of the inadequacies is a strong word, but like you get what I mean.
100%.
mhm.
It felt like something that they added. That was like one of the last things they thought of. It's like let's try and make this movie a little cooler. You know?
Yeah. So this movie was not shot in New York.
Oh.
Shot in Montreal, and a few other places in Canada, primarily.
The New York of the North.
So yeah, the New York of the North. Yeah, no, but I was fooled. I was like, oh, that looks like New York.
Yeah.
I think that we needed Jaden Smith in this movie, or one Cobra Kai kid, just one.
I was waiting for Jane Smith to show up.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what that guy does, I'm gonna be honest with you, other than talk about the socioeconomic political state of the world or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't really know if he acts at all anymore.
He has that Netflix like anime like Neo Yokio. I don't know
Yeah.
much about that, but I know he voice acts in that. But yeah, no, CJ, as the only person on this podcast who has finished Cobra Kai, what do you think about that statement that I'm saying? Where
You need a Cobra Kai kid in there.
I think we needed a Cobra Kai. I think we needed Miguel or someone. If we're doing the whole Legends thing, the Legacy sequel, we need the guys, you know?
I mean,
For sure.
sure, but at the same time, like seeing how they just kind of shoehorn Daniel in, and Mr. Han even, it. I don't know how they would fit into the story, if that makes sense.
You are right. But didn't you say they go to college at the end of the Cobra Kai thing?
They do, yeah. So it's like,
What if one of them's at NYU?
College Kai.
no, the well, okay, really? Okay, can I spoil Cobra Kai?
Spoilers for Cobra Kai. Get off the podcast if you don't want to hear any spoilers about Cobra Kai.
I'll see y'all next week.
So am I good?
You're good.
Okay. So it's like Miguel goes to Stanford, Sam goes to Japan, and then Robbie and Tori are Hawk and Dimitri go to MIT, and then Robbie and Tori are they're like big martial arts influencers basically. So I don't really know how they would fit into the
Bring in the influencers.
like somehow
Yeah.
like somehow they end up in New York, I guess. Maybe like Daniel needs some training dummies or something like that.
Yeah, that could work. That could work. Yeah, you put the influencers at the five boroughs thing. Boroughs.
Or at least they could if they wanted to integrate them, maybe they could sort of utilize the whole so they repeat the phrase the two branches, one tree, whatever, yada yada yada.
A lot of
And it's
yeah.
but at the same time, and this contributes to the whole the ending of the movie just seems so forced. With it they have this big climactic moment where the dad ends up in the hospital, right? And then Jackie Chan kind of just comes in and it's okay, you're gonna do this tournament now, and it doesn't really feel clear. I get it's the money, but it's kind of just okay, we're gonna go do this now. And then it's
Yeah.
you also are gonna learn karate, but it doesn't really make sense. They don't really explain it well why the karate is absolutely necessary in this circumstance. I get it's a karate tournament, but it doesn't seem too satisfying that it's oh, this is the driving force of why we're bringing a whole person from California to New York to train you in this other style. Which,
Yeah.
and then from a fight choreography or a principle standpoint, they don't really distinguish the differences between karate and kung fu too much, other than some side banter, some bickering between Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio's characters.
That is something that as the common man, I could have used a little bit more of, because like you mentioned, Lee Fong is the protagonist of the movie, and he's kind of the first Karate Kid protagonist that's like skilled in martial arts going into the movie. And I felt like we could have used some more distinction between the specific kinds of martial arts and like why he needs one, and you know why he's kind of like out of his depth to a certain extent, because it kind of just feels like he's got it for like the entire movie, and then Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan just like beat the shit out of him for like 20 minutes, and then he's like, oh, like, you know, now I know Miyagi karate, and it's kind of like, what are we really doing here? So CJ, I have a question. What is the difference between, like, or just basic key difference between the kung fu that Lee is utilizing in the beginning of the movie versus like the karate that they teach him throughout the movie?
So it's like, so kung fu, in a general sense, it's a lot more philosophical than karate. It's because it's based off of like Chinese religion and ancient Chinese culture, and so because a lot of it is more like spiritual, it becomes a lot more artistic. So kung fu is trademarked a lot of the times by like more circular movements and just like constant, like more like flowy movements and more like constant actions, you know what I mean? Opposed to karate that's a little bit more linear. The thing that I was kind of looking for whenever I was trying to find the distinction between like what they were doing with their karate and what they were doing with the kung fu is the like Lee, as like his character, he has the kung fu down, but then for the karate side of things, I was looking for a lot more like taking things a little bit like more like head on, you know what I mean? Opposed to just like it's really hard to verbalize, but like you can see the distinction between oh my god, what's the antagonist's name?
Connor.
Yeah, some basic white name. It's like the distinction between Connor and like Lee's fight styles. You would have wanted to see Lee fight a little bit more like Connor towards the end if he was like really learning karate. If I'm really thinking about it in terms of like the fight styles, and this is kind of my one of my biggest pet peeves with Cobra Kai, is in order to have him learn the karate, you have to have an example of what karate is supposed to look like, and Ralph Macchio is just like not the guy for that. You know what I mean? I'm like, all respect to Ralph Macchio and what he did in the original trilogy, like pulling off the whole like, oh, I'm an inexperienced person who's like training and like understanding the philosophy of this art form. But like to sell that he's like now mastered karate at this point is just like it's not convincing.
Another thing to add on to that is that Ralph Macchio is 63, which is 12 years older than Pat Morita was when the first Karate Kid was released in 1984. So he is currently 12 years older than Mr. Miyagi was in the first movie. So,
you know what the weird thing about like him over everyone not really being in as much?
Yeah,
he's like an executive producer on this movie. Like he's obviously in Cobra Kai. That's why I was so confused that like he pops up. I don't know. This whole movie's just weird. I don't know. Maybe it's because I have like zero attachment to the Karate Kid franchise, but I don't know. It's really weird that he's in it for like 10 minutes.
It is really, like I said, I think it's straight up false advertising that Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio are on the poster and in the trailers, and they're the main draws for this movie.
You know what this whole ordeal reminded me of?
What?
The Sony Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Like they put the coolest shit in the trailers. This movie is produced by
Sony, or distributed by Sony, so.
Like they put, first of all, just like the coolest stuff that happens, like the coolest shots in those movies in the trailers, which I kind of feel like they did with a lot of this. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I wasn't watching every single trailer, but I saw this trailer every once in a while. And I thought most of the coolest martial arts moments were in the trailer. I don't know if y'all felt that too, or how much y'all remember the trailers or anything. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the Sony Spider-Man movies do that also. That's why I was telling Max, I was like trying to see if the producer on those was the producer on this, because I felt like it took a lot from that. And like the kind of bait and switch when it comes out and it's this whole different thing, and it's like you can tell how many cooks it went through. I don't know, very similar vibe. Max, would you agree? I don't know, CJ, how into the Sony universe of Spider-Man characters without Spider-Man you are, but Max and I'd say we're experts.
I mean, here's CJ might be a little bit more in than you'd think, because he saw Morbius with me on day one. He was the guy.
Okay.
He went.
God.
I'm
sorry, I
him out.
you.
For context, we were college roommates, and then I think you legitimately dragged me out of bed to watch that movie.
I might have said, CJ, you know what? We're going to see Morbius today, and
Yeah.
You got me deep, man. I haven't seen Morbius still. I put my foot down.
I don't think
I
you'll
watched
ever
Madam
see
Web.
that
I
movie.
watched Craven.
My opinion on that is honestly the same as it is on this. It's like it's not like a spectacular piece of art, but it's a fun time if you want to find a way to spend an hour.
You had a fun time with Morbius?
I did have a fun time with Morbius.
Hell yeah! It's not, I'm not the only one.
Okay, I'm still not gonna like if somebody says like oh, should I watch Morbius? I'm still probably not gonna be like, oh yeah, it's like the greatest like use of money.
Those are bad optics.
There's a million
movies I like that I'm like I don't recommend to people because I'm not gonna tell. As much as I love to tell everyone that Speed Racer is like the best blockbuster ever, I know that movie will scare some people.
Exactly, bro. Like it's the same with this one. It's like I don't like. I wouldn't waste your money on it, but at the same time, if you end up watching it, I don't think you'd regret it by any means. The Karate Kid, I mean.
Yeah, I think if you're a fan of the Karate Kid movies, I think you'll get something out of it. Like I think like I was coming into it pretty excited, but I also didn't really like it, but I'm glad I saw it. Like it's fun. I had a good time. I'm not going to remember it like after this podcast, but you know.
Is it a hot take for me to say that like this didn't need to be a Karate Kid movie? Like it could have been just a really
I think it makes it worse. I'm going to say this is the worst movie I've seen this year, by the way.
I feel like if you take out the like the Karate Kid elements of it, or it could go to be like just a fine standalone Jackie Chan style movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd have to get tweaked a bunch because I think like all the stuff that happens in like the third act is like very like legacy, like here comes Ralph Macchio and that's what we're doing now and yada yada yada. But I think I think you bring up an interesting point. I think it could have been better had the Karate Kid stuff not been there. But you also need to punch up the script.
Or at least like connect the Karate Kid stuff a little bit better to what was going on in the very beginning, because it really does just feel like two separate movies. Because even if so there's the differences in style and like between like the karate and kung fu or whatever, but like in terms of like disciplines and philosophies of the two martial arts, you could sort of spin some sort of storyline where even if like Ralph Macchio can't like make you a master in karate, he can help you understand like the concepts of it, like attacking problems head on, you know what I mean, opposed to just circling around whatever is going on, because does seem to be like the internal conflict, I guess, that they set up for Lee's character. But like thinking about it towards the end, where does that even go?
Yeah, not really anywhere.
Nope.
But yeah, no, I'll watch this movie like 10 times over before I watch Kraven the Hunter again. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I'd probably watch Kraven again before this. I don't know. I have like zero, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't have any attachment. I really like did not enjoy watching this, but also, I have zero attachment to Karate Kid.
You're illuminating an interesting point though about legacy sequels in general, and how for people who are not, super devoted fans of the franchise, these movies can feel quite alienating.
It's just like not even a good movie in there without all the legacy. Like, I think there are interesting ideas and things happening. Like, I didn't totally hate like the boxer thing. I was like, oh, sorry about that. Hey, that's kind of cool that they're trying to do something different. Then when you like go back to this fuck ass Connor, who's like the worst fucking teenage villain I've ever seen in a movie. I don't know how y'all felt.
Yeah, he kind of. Yeah.
I don't know if that was a director thing or an actor thing, but oh my god, every time that guy was on screen. I'm sorry.
Nothing was ever like fully
He's older than us.
realized.
I looked it up to make sure he wasn't like a kid. He's older than us, so he could take it. yeah, I don't know. This was a hard watch for someone who does not really care about Karate Kid.
Yeah. And I think we'll have to leave it at that. That's been Karate Kid Legends. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Do you guys recommend this? What are we doing here? Are we sending this off?
I don't know. I can't really recommend this to people. Go watch Mission Impossible again.
Or just you can go watch Bring Her Back now.
Yeah, go watch Bring Her Back. I want to go watch that. More to say about that, but
yeah, no, CJ, any final thoughts?
It's I wouldn't recommend it, but I don't think it's like a complete waste of time. I'll just keep repeating that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought it was, fine enough.
It's satisfying. Actually, I can't even call it satisfying.
CJ's conflicted.
I'm conflicted. Maybe I'm trying to give it too much credit, but like it's fine for what it is.
It's fine for what it is,
and it's not too much of a time commitment.
Yeah, it's short, but yeah, no. And that's been Karate Kid Legends. Thank you for sneaking in with us, and we'll see you next time.